Hi there, this is Ranjit and I have the Sony Xperia T2 Ultra. That's a phablet and this puts a huge 6-inch screen and we'll be doing the gaming review. Before I start the gaming review, let me give you an idea. This is the Note 3 Neo that puts a 5.5-inch screen, and this is the Nexus 5. So this should give you an idea about the screen size. By any stretch, it's a massive phone. And before we start the review, let me talk about the specs. It's actually just a mid-range device, not a high-end device. And let me show you the specs by using the CPU-Z application. It's powered by the Snapdragon 400 chipset. That's a quad-core processor clocked at 1.4 GHz, and it's based on the ARM Cortex A7 architecture. We have 4 physical cores and the GPU on this is the Adreno 305. So it's actually very similar to the Motorola Moto G. It's just that the Moto G is clocked at 1.2 GHz, but this is clocked at 1.4 GHz. Regarding the RAM, it has just 1 GB of RAM, and the screen size is a 6-inch screen, which is a 720p HD screen. Out of the box, it's running on the Android version 4.3, that is Jelly Bean. And regarding the storage, it has 8 GB of internal storage, but you just get around 4.3 GB or so. I'll talk about the storage a bit later. And the battery is a 3000 milliampere battery. It's sealed inside, not user replaceable, but the battery life is actually pretty good on this phones. And these are the sensors. The good thing is that Sony hasn't skimped on any sensors, so we have almost all the sensors required. So let's wipe this away and let's start with some casual games, and then we'll move to heavy games. So let's start with this Subway Surfer. One thing I like is the screen quality. The screen quality on this is very good. We generally complain about Sony devices, but the screen quality on this device is actually very good. So let's start this Subway Surfer. And regarding the speaker, I have mixed experience, because in some of the games the speaker is adequate. It's not loud by any stretch. For example, it's adequately loud in this game, but in many of the other games I found the speaker output to be actually very low. Also, when I was playing some YouTube videos, etc., the speaker output was not that loud. So as you can see, it's playing this one actually without any issues. Also, the touch sensitivity is also very good on this phone. So as you can see, it's running this one without any issues. So let's move to another game now. So let's get out of the Subway Surfer and let's swipe that away. And let's also play this Temple Run 2, which is also a very popular game. So this is Temple Run 2. I've already done the unboxing of this device, so you can check out that for a more general overview. The good thing is that it has a 13 megapixel camera and it also has that Sony XOMAR sensor on it. And as you can see, casual games like this is not an issue with this device. And let me tilt. Again, as you can see, I'm tilting the phone to extreme angles. Then also the image does not fade. So Sony did actually a very good job regarding the screen on this one. So as you can see, it's running this one without any issues. So let's just get out of this one and move to some heavy games now. So let me just get out of this one now. And let me just swipe this away. We'll also try this Real Racing 3 now. So this is Real Racing 3. Let me change the camera angles. Just notice this rear view mirror. We are not able to see what's behind. That means all graphics are not getting rendered. It's not at max graphics settings. So looks like by default it is on medium graphics settings. And I do notice a little bit of stuttering there, as you can see, and there was a lot of action. But again, the game is very much playable. But as you can see, it's actually playing this game pretty well. Let me change the camera angles, as you can see. So the race is completed, and let's move out of this one and let's play another game. And one more thing is that you change the orientation, the home screen changes. So these are big phones, phablets. Let's try this Asphalt 8 now. And before we proceed, let me show you the graphics settings on this Asphalt 8. And by default it was at medium. I also tried this game at the high graphics settings, but on high graphics settings it was playable, but it was skipping 1 or 2 frames here and there. So let's play it on the medium level, and make sure that you slide this. The default volume will be at 50%. Make sure that you slide it to 100%, and we'll play this Iceland level. And again, I have to say the screen quality that Sony has put is gorgeous. After a long time, I'm loving a screen panel from Sony. So this is at medium graphic settings, but again, as you can see, almost all the graphic are getting rendered. We get that smoke from the wheels when we drift. So as you can see, it's playing it actually very well, no issues. As we have set the sound to even max everything while software, and also here on the Xperia T2, still the volume level is not that great. I would say the volume is a little bit teeny. But as you can see, it's playing this very well. No skippage of frames or anything. Trying the drifts. Oops. Oops, I crashed. So actually it's playing it very well on this medium level. Also I feel playing games on this large screen is more enjoyable experience. Just wish that the sound output was as good as the screen quality provided on this T2 Ultra. So as you can see, it's playing this Asphalt 8 also very well on the medium graphics settings. Even on high graphics setting it was playable, but as I said, it was skipping a few frames here and there. So let's get out of this one also now. And if you look closely, I have this FIFA 14 also I installed, but you'll notice that I had to uninstall Real Racing. The reason for that is the internal storage is actually pretty low. Though we have a micro SD card slot here, but you cannot move the apps to the SD card. So let's also try this FIFA 14. So this is FIFA. And actually it's playing this one pretty well. So this is FIFA and we're going to play it. I'm not good at this game. I actually do not play this a lot, but some of you asked me to play this game, so just playing it. And actually it's pretty good. It's playing it very fluently, no issues, no lagginess. So as you can see, it's playing it actually very well. So this is the FIFA on the Experia T2 Ultra. You'll have a good experience playing this one also. So as you have seen, this Experia T2 Ultra could play many of the casual games without any issues. So while playing casual games, you won't have any issues. And even it could play some of the high-end games like Asphalt 8, FIFA 14 and even Real Racing. Though yes, we had to tone down the graphics settings to medium. The thing is with the Xperia T2 Ultra is that the internal storage is actually pretty low. Out of that 8 GB, you just get about 4.3 GB or so. So let me go to the storage. Though this phone does allow you to add a micro SD card, and I added a 8 GB SD card, but sadly we cannot move the games or the apps to the SD card. So the storage is the limiting factor if you are a heavy gamer. I could install just 2 heavy games, and after that I could install a third heavy game. So that might be one of the limiting factors if you are a heavy gamer. And another thing is that though the speaker opening is actually pretty wide, it's not that loud. Also, I do feel that Sony should have put 1.5 gigs of RAM. It just has 1 gig of RAM, and it would have been great if it would have had extra internal storage like 16 gigs. I'll also be doing an in-depth review on this Xperia T2 Ultra very soon. So if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe to the same. Thank you for watching this video. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Hi there, this is Ranjit and welcome to my YouTube channel, that's Geeky Ranjit. And in this video we'll be doing the unboxing and have a first look at this Xperia T2 Ultra, and this is the dual SIM version. We also get this one in a single SIM variant, and it's a huge phone, and it sports actually a 6-inch screen, and it has that mobile Bravia engine with tri-luminous for the display. And it also has the ExoMars sensor. Actually it has a 13 megapixel rear facing shooter, and it's powered by the Qualcomm quad-core processor clocked at 1.4 gigahertz. It's based on the ARM Cortex A7. This is very similar to the one that we got on the Moto G that was clocked at 1.2 gigahertz, but this is clocked at 1.4 gigahertz. And the screen is a 720p HD screen. Before we open it up, let's talk about the pricing. The price quoted here on the box is 25,990, but Faisal Communications quoted me a street price of 23,000 for this device. So let's quickly just open this up and let's have a quick look at this Xperia T2. We have the phone itself. It's a massive phone. We'll come back to it a bit later. Let's see, what do we have? We have some documentation, etc. Yes, we have the startup guide for this one, and this gives you the basic info and the ports on the device. as you can see, and how you can turn it off, on or off. And we also have safety and regulatory guide, and we have the Sony warranty. This is Sony India warranty certificate. And regarding the accessories, we do get earphones, but these are not in-ear style earphones, and we do have a button to take or end calls, and we also have a microphone. And what else do we get? We get the power adapter, and it's again a Sony branded one with a USB slot, and we'll also have a USB cable. So let's keep all these things to the side and let's have a look at the phone itself. And here we have the Experia T2. It's a massive phone. It's a huge 6-incher, and I've already set it up so that we don't waste any time. And before I started, let me give you a physical overview. On the top, actually, we have nothing. On this end, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, and this flap can be opened, and this will reveal the, here you can add both the SIM1 and SIM2. And here we have the power on off button, and underneath that, this is the volume rocker, and we also have a dedicated button for the camera shutter. Moving down, actually again we have nothing over here, and on this end again we have a slot, and here you can add a micro SD card if you would like, and this is the micro USB port that will be used for charging this device. Moving towards the back, we have the secondary microphone, and this is the 30 megapixel camera that we have on this one, and this can also record video up to 1080p. And we do have a LED flash, and that means it's NFC compatible. We have the Sony branding, Experia branding, and this is a big opening for the speaker, so it'll be interesting to see how the speaker performs. On the front, we have a 1.1 megapixel camera, but this can record video only up to 720p. Sony branding and that huge screen, and this looks like bottom we have the microphone. So let's just quickly unlock this one. I've already set it up, and as you can see, we get that huge screen. Let me adjust the brightness. It's on auto brightness right now, and as you can see, yes, it's on auto brightness. And let me manually set it up. And actually, initial impressions, the screen quality looks actually very nice. And if you have used any recent Xperia phones, it's running that custom Sony skin. Let's look at the Android version that we get with this one. Let's go to the settings now, and let's look at about the device. And as you can see, it's running the Android version 4.3, that is Jelly Bean. And I do get haptic feedback. Again, the back, home, and the multitasking tray buttons are on-screen buttons and give you haptic feedback. Let's look at the storage. I did not add any micro SD card as of now, and out of that 8 GB, the available space that you get is 4.33 GB. I'll add a micro SD card later on and see if it allows apps to be moved on that. So let's look at the display. Again, as you can see, it has the mobile Bravia engine, and we also have this glove mode. So if you have gloves on, then also this will operate. Let's go to the brightness, and we have that auto brightness sensor. As you can see, it worked. I put it on auto right now. And we also have a notification LED light, and you can enable it or disable it if you want.